Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 147 on August 28th, 2019. I am Clyde. Today, I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hey, everybody.
Michael Aston.
Howdy, y'all.
And all I have to say is if only people could see the ridiculous things that we are doing during that song.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You guys don't even see what I'm doing.
It's true. I can't.
But
Wait,
yeah.
Wait a second. What are you doing during the song? Because while the song's going, we just see the
I
logo.
would call it dancing, but most
You do dancing?
people would probably disagree.
Oh, yeah? Oh, well. Today I decided to be a little energetic and I had a little fun, so it's good.
Yes, Wabbit, that song does have a name, but I paid for it, so I don't remember what it was.
Ah, okay. One of those, huh?
It's one of those where, I paid for it. It doesn't matter. I don't have to give them credit.
I'm just curious, on those type of songs, when you pay for the song, do they take it off the market and it becomes yours?
It depends.
Only if you pay a lot.
Yeah, you'd have to pay a lot.
Right. So,
No.
so generally you're paying for your rights to use the song, but anybody else could also do it. So like another video podcast of some kind that also talks about streaming services could have the exact same song if they paid for it.
If they wanted to.
That sounds like a really bad thing. That sounds horrible.
It's one of those things that the pool is so big that, I mean, I listened to literally thousands of songs before I finally just went, this one works. Keep
Yeah.
coming back to it. And now I can't imagine using anything else.
That's right.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Wabbit keeps adding words that
What?
are not there by design.
I don't know. Yeah, I think
This is supposed to be a family-friendly show, Wabbit. Stop allowing the bad words.
Well, maybe what Rabbit needs to do is he needs to write words to the song. They could be completely offensive, but nobody ever sings it. So just go ahead. That's what we'll have. We'll just have, and don't read the lyrics. It's not appropriate.
Oh.
Lyrics by Rabbit Magic.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were talking about Dave Matthews. Because my friend the other day, she was talking about one of his songs. And I was like, have you ever listened to the lyrics? She said, no, why? And I said, okay, read the lyrics. And her eyes got big and she went, oh, no.
So wait a second. I didn't know Dave Matthews had bad lyrics. Seriously, is that bad?
It's very explicit. And kids are singing it. I can't remember. Oh, Crash. Look up Crash Into Me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the name in itself is, once you actually think about it, you go, oh. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no, Drew, I've heard my sister or my kids, that song's actually come back up in popularity. My kids are 13. And I don't listen to Dave Matthews, so they didn't get it from me. But, yeah, it's one of those things. Also, you get subtext in songs like Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax is, you see, I think it's been.
All these lyrics to Crash Into Me I have heard and listened to, and I was like, the first time I was listening going, yeah, this is can be interpreted really poorly.
Yes.
So
that was my point.
Yeah.
Not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just
take any, there's an awful lot of Paul Simon songs that if you actually read the words, they're like, yeah, he's talking about sex.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
I want to know what he and Julio were doing down by the schoolyard.
Nothing good, I'll tell you that.
Well, it was against the law.
Yes, it was.
What his mama saw was against the law.
Exactly.
And the worst part is his mother saw what he was doing. And if that was such a big deal that you don't want your mom to see it,
exactly.
I want to know, what were they doing? And on that note, I want to know, what is Hulu doing?
Hulu is introducing a new a guide for their live service. So if you have Hulu Live and are using it on Apple TV, you are seeing this already. And very soon it's going to be coming to the iOS. This is their standard channel guide where you'll be able to see the various shows that are available up to 2 weeks. It seems like this is the kind of thing that almost every single live service does need for at least some of their customers who like this kind of thing. So I'm happy to see that this has come. This is something that actually I'm surprised it hasn't come yet. And if I were on the live service, I would be complaining loudly about it.
I mean, they've had
you won't
one.
care about this because you don't have an Apple TV.
That's true. But if I was watching Hulu Live on the Roku, I'd say, and I would be going, "Where's my guide?" At this point, if I didn't know.
They've always had a guide, a live TV guide. It's just not good.
Oh,
this was one of the things I disliked about Hulu TV when I had them for a while, was that the guide was really not easy to use. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't say they've always had it, because at first it was really just a navigational thing. Then they added it, but it wasn't easy to use. It wasn't good at all.
Wait, Hulu TV or Hulu TV didn't have a guide at the beginning? Because I don't know how you would navigate the channels.
Perhaps they did, and it was just too hard to find and get to.
Maybe.
It was more of a navigational to the show kind of thing. Like, you would select the kind of show you wanted to watch, and then you would drill down from there. Like say for football, you'd be like, I want to watch sports, and then college sports, and then football, and then select the school that you wanted to watch, and then it was just a pain. I do think there was a TV guide, but it was really hard to find, but it was also really not easy to use. And like Sling TV and YouTube TV have them, but they're just generally not very good. So, coming up with a good TV guide, they're all trying to be innovative, right? They want to have this cool, innovative TV guide, but I don't think they're even, I would say they're not user testing them or something, because they're just all awful.
Yeah, see, this is one story where it would have been great if Jimmy was here and not prepping for a hurricane, because this is the two things he uses in one story: the Apple TV and
he would have been
Hulu TV.
He would have been able to give us a good description of why it's better and all that. So, hey, maybe we'll get that answer next week.
Oh well.
Yep.
Good to see that they're doing something, but the next is the thing that I was super excited about. Did you hear that Amazon got some a lot of unsolicited free advertising for their Fire TVs?
Okay, well, Conspiracy Matt is asking, did Amazon set the fire?
I don't know, but there was a fire in the Amazon.
Yes, that's right. It's already burning,
laugh,
though.
I laugh, but I'm not laughing because the rainforest is actually on fire.
No, we're not laughing at that.
Because there was a Amazon fire. So anybody that searched on Google for Amazon fire got links to the Fire TV.
So this actually, it makes sense for Google to do this. I'm sorry, but this actually makes sense because, yes, there is this giant effect going on in the world, which is this, giant big old fire down in the Amazon.
And now Amazon looks bad.
And there is a product called Amazon Fire. So if you search for Amazon Fire, I would make that assumption that both of those responses are valid. Perhaps you were looking for one of these two things.
But to your question...
Yeah, go ahead and look at the search right now. You get separation. The first things you get are the top stories, right? That shows the Amazon fire, and then there's the videos related to the fire. Those are all completely relevant. But then the very first text or web search website is Amazon Fire TV family, and then Fire tablets, and then Amazon Fire official. And you have to scroll down to like the 6th or 7th link before you finally get to something about the fire itself.
Yeah. And the best the best part is this story is from like 4 days ago. So it was much worse then, but the amazing thing is it's still happening when you do the search. And I don't blame Google for being like, nope, we're hands off.
Or if they're hands on, they're just barely, like little things to make sure it's not, too one way or the other. I don't know.
When I read this story, I laughed. I laughed so hard. And again, it's
we laugh because it's so much easier than crying.
There we go.
Because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. That's how you feel about it. Sometimes that's true. It's actually true.
I laugh because it's hilarious.
He's laughing at the fire. I'm laughing at the advertising. He's
all right,
take that, jungle.
Oh, that's fires and jungles are not natural. They are one of the ways that you have to grow away, get rid of old growth, and new growth can come in. It's all okay. It's pretty normal.
I understand that. Some people understand that, but the people that react with their emotions, they don't understand that.
And they burned to the point where they were letting it go. Okay, let's now get involved. So it's cool. All right, Xiaomi. I always say Xiaomi for some reason. Xiaomi has a TV4 series, and that TV4 series is getting the new Android TV Pie update, which I believe is 9, right? Pie is 9, version 9? Yes. So this is the same update that recently came out to the NVIDIA Shield. So this is coming out to various versions like the TV4 Pro, the 4A Pro, the 4C Pro, and the 4X Pro, which...
So is all the 4X Pro like one better than XXX Pros?
It's 4 times better than the original ordinary Pro. That's all I know.
Yeah, way to avoid.
It's 4 times better than original Pro. Thank you. I appreciate that. But
yeah,
this is good. More updates to this. I've been using the Android Pie update on the NVIDIA Shield for a couple weeks now. When it first came out, maybe it was just the version before, I'm not certain, it felt a little barren, and it's definitely filling in a little bit better now. So this is a good update for the Android devices.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sad that there's a story about an update.
Oh,
should be a given.
That's true.
Every device should.
Well, it's okay. In Xiaomi's defense, it is a given. This is just more of a public service saying, hey, if you're waiting for it, it's coming.
Right.
Next month.
Okay.
In a few days. So, yeah.
So here's a story I don't quite understand. Viewed and Realtek have signed an agreement to make chipsets for Android TVs. Realtek, I know that company. They make all kinds of mid-grade and lower end chips, and even some nicer chips, generally on the cheaper end. But the Viewed guys, they make some Viewed Core, and there's this HTML5 SDK being used for. It's basically been used ever since the very first Android TVs. I've never heard of this company, and I don't know exactly what they do.
So what is happening here is, Realtek has a Android TV chipset.
Mm-hmm.
Viewed and Realtek have gotten together to pre-integrate into those chipsets, so that way the Viewed and Viewed will be optimized for that chipset, and then they know that Viewed will work on anything that chipset is installed in. So they've signed an agreement to work together for integration purposes, because Viewed wants to be everywhere. and they want to make sure that they're working excellent or the best possible everywhere. And Realtek, the Realtek chipset is pretty much the I don't want to say only player in town, but it's the predominant player. So
right.
So that's what this is.
So okay.
Yeah, and then the question is, what is Viewed? Viewed is an over-the-top video software company. Their software is already out. I've never used it. I've heard of it a couple times. It's VEWD. They are apparently they're already on 80% of the world's Android TV based smart TVs.
It sounds like it's like some type of middleware or framework that is being used by a lot of this Android TV stuff. So, I mean, it's fine. I just never heard of them, and I never understood what the story is trying to claim that this is a big deal, and I'm sure it is.
Last year that Viewed launched their own OS for Android TV to cut down on time to market and reduce. I don't know what CapEx is. I think that's a typo. By making an Android TV launch more of a turnkey experience and offering product modules to adhere
maybe this
to
is something
Android
more
TV
for your Android TV box for your company that wants to sell you a service and gives you an Android TV box.
Yeah,
that's probably what this. So since I've never heard of the company, that is a good thing for them because they are working in the background where nobody knows. But with a name like Viewed. And like I said in the chat, it sure sounds lewd.
Don't start a feud.
Okay. Don't get wooed. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. I just got this. The Viewed app, formerly known as Opera TV, is an online storefront that specializes in apps optimized for the TV. The Viewed app runs apps from the cloud and includes video, music, social networking, games, and news. So, yes, this is formerly Opera TV.
Okay, so in other words, they had an awesome name that was well recognized, and now they have a name that nobody knows and we can make fun of.
Yes, and I got that info from support.tivo.com.
Okay, I don't know why you went there to look for it,
well,
but okay.
No, that was the first search result. People also ask, what is Viewed? I meant to look that up before, so I apologize for not having that ready.
Okay.
I am not yet to Tom Merritt's status. Give me another 15, 20 years, and then you can criticize me.
To Tom Merritt's status of knowing how everything works and having a good grip of how to talk about everything, I don't think we'll ever get to that point.
Well,
so if you're expecting
it has a lot to do in the pre-work. He doesn't just sit down 5 minutes before you go to air and say, okay, what are we talking about?
Well, are you saying that's what we do?
Of course.
Hey, Roku! Roku is growing. And in fact, Roku is growing so fast. It's growing faster than Netflix did when it was about this time in its history, which really kind of makes me wonder. It's already hit a gigantic a number of people, and is expected to hit 80 million active accounts by 2025. They think this is going to be a huge rise for Roku.
Yes.
And I'm certain that that's probably true, but I've already heard some people complaining that, Roku feels like it's kind of, it's at a point where it's hit a plateau and it either needs to break through with another big something or it's going to start.
And that's where I disagree, because I love the stripped down simplicity of Roku. That is the thing that I like the most about it. Everybody wants, or people, I keep hearing people talk about, they want the flashy, transitions and stuff that you get from like Apple TV or Android TV or, I don't want any of that. I don't want previews. I just like the grid. I love the fact that the first time I handed my dad the remote, he just got it.
Right.
I didn't have to explain. He just moved around and clicked on a thing and said, oh, okay.
Well, it's just maybe, so I'm thinking future Roku. Roku should do something, in my opinion. They should do something to expand their app one way or another. Maybe they'll add a fourth column. Ooh, I don't know. But anyways,
I will say they're doing something right now that I'm angry.
But at that being said, I think they should always have. Yeah, you're probably under NDA, Mister. You can't even. You can't even tell us you're angry, but that's okay. But they should always, if you ask me, Roku should always have a way of going back to the classic design as you see now, because it is very familiar and people do like it. So Roku Classic, everybody, in a future Roku release for you.
I think one thing I want to mention, one thing that I find disingenuous about this story is that they say Roku is growing faster than Netflix did at the same point. So what is that supposed to mean? Netflix streaming is newer than Roku is. So how do you make this comparison? Because Netflix is older by far. It started in like the late 90s, like 97-ish, right. And as a disc rental service, and then it released its streaming solution in like 2010 or 2010, right? Whereas Roku had already been out for about 2 years. So to make a comparison of like where they are for a given time, that's not really a fair comparison, because you're not comparing apples to apples.
Well, okay, let me ask this. Was Netflix a publicly traded company when it first launched in the 90s, early 2000s?
No, it was owned by the Hastings company.
And I think that's what they're talking about, because Roku only went public like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I think that's what they're talking about. When Netflix went public 2 years later, would be or 2 or 3 years after Netflix went public. Because this is talking about their stocks a lot.
Okay.
The value of the company. I mean, the fact that shares of Roku climbed nearly 370% this year.
Okay. Well,
and
maybe
I am totally kicking myself for not buying in when they did their IPO a couple years ago, when everybody laughed because they said, "Oh, Roku's IPO failed because it ended at such a low price." Mm-hmm. And I wish I think it was like $20-$30 a couple years ago.
Okay. Well, Clyde, I think we can end the pre-show now, and we can continue on with more news.
No, this week is all pre-show.
Hey, it's the pre-show show? Excellent. Hey, since we're doing all pre-show, we should probably mention the fact that MoviePass is still in the news. I don't know how they do it. Every week, they somehow get in. They snuck in last week. They're in big time this week because new MoviePass has basically been found. The fact that a lot of their data has been leaked online. Looks like a couple of people have gone out and found some databases that were unencrypted on the internet, full of useful data. Some of it was the credit cards numbers that were issued by them, those little credit cards for you to go buy the movies, and some of them were the credit card data actually being used by the actual customer's credit card data and information. And MoviePass has acknowledged that this is a thing. So, how long until they're dead, guys?
So, I gotta say something. Is it possible, conspiracy theory Mike now, that
where's your tin?
MoviePass has actually been just fine all along, but it makes up all of these stories just to keep itself in the news. We're going out of business.
I've made that before, because when the dude that started the company left and started his new company, he immediately got funding for his next venture. And they always say that, a failed venture is better than a successful venture when you're trying to move on to the next thing. And because when you fail spectacularly, you get lots of press and lots of noise, And then when you say, hey, I did this, people may not necessarily know what that was, but they remember hearing everybody talk about that. And it's like, oh, you did that. Yeah, here, take my money. So I don't know.
Hey,
This is
just
the thing
curious.
that we talked about a little bit after show last week, and I thought we had agreed not to. I don't know. I'm angry. I am angry.
I'm just curious, and I think I know the answer. The Movie Pass isn't working right now, right?
Sort of.
You can't.
It is.
Oh, really?
I saw Dora with it a couple weeks ago.
But since then,
it has been every once in a while it works, but they've been doing the thing where there are no more showings today. But I don't check it every day. So I don't know.
I don't know. Christmas, by Christmas, I think they're dead. That's what I think.
This very well could be the thing that kills them.
Yeah. If nothing else happens. All right. Netflix is offering a new service where they're going to go ahead and it's a beta now. They're just testing it out. Where they're going to be offering human curated collections. So you can go ahead and try something that humans have decided are good things to watch in a row.
Kind of like when humans thumbs up things, right?
Sort of.
Thumb up, thumb down does not work.
So this is only on iOS for now, and for the test only has a list of various lists of things being put together by experts that tell you that various things come from like just for laughs or prize-winning movie picks or watch, gasp, repeat, various little things like that.
So what I meant to say is kind of like people like using a star system.
Oh, star system's great, but the problem is the star system is accurate if you put the time in. The problem with this is essentially on the heels of what we talked about like the week before last, HBO saying screw algorithms, we're going to give you selections curated by people. Mm-hmm. The problem is it's not necessarily going to be to your taste. Just because a lot of people say this is good or this is bad does not. I mean, perfect example. Right now, the internet is burning down. People are angry about the new Dave Chappelle.
No, really?
I say watch it because it was awesome, and 90% of the things that they were talking about, he was absolutely right, and that is why. And the thing is, that's never going to be on one of these lists because.
Oh, see, that's the thing, Clyde. I know right now only experts get to support things, but I really want, not because I think I would like a lot of the movies, but because I would be interested in seeing what the list was and maybe watching some of them with some morbid curiosity, a poodle puncher list.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I want a collection with all your movies, because you have such a weird little things you like that I'm like, really?
Well, okay. You have to take Movie Party out of it because that's not necessarily things I like.
That's true. That's true.
Just things that I go, oh, this will be fun to watch with other people.
Uh-huh.
Which is why I can't really take anything serious from my Amazon recommendations because 90% of the movies that we watch are on Amazon, so Amazon just thinks I'm some weirdo.
His tastes are
horrible. It was because of that Amazon recommended that I watch The Greasy Strangler, which led to recent events. But
so, I mean, the reason I bring up the star system for two reasons, right? First of all, I know that it's like one of those things that drives you crazy that it happened. That the star system was so perfect, then they ruined it. But the other thing is that a star system works effectively because it is something that you do and that the masses do, right? Mm-hmm. And so it can make analysis to that. And so things like Rotten Tomatoes, I can look there and I can be fairly confident that if it gets a really high score by the audience, I'll probably like it. On the other hand, though, if it gets a really high score by the critics, there's a very good chance I won't like it. It's probably about 50-50. That's the problem with this kind of thing. The people that curate it, and like you said, Clyde, are not necessarily going to match your likes and interests. And in fact, in all probability, the majority of the people aren't going to match most people's likes and interests because they're going to select people that are, famous or critics or, have some special artistic skills like directors or whatever, or actors. And they often have a slightly different perspective of good than the average person. On the other hand, a star system or a rating system that's taken in by the masses does tend to be something that is consistent with a large percentage of people. So that's why I don't like this idea. Curated lists, as a general rule, in my opinion, tend to be pretty awful, as opposed to ranked systems by the crowd, by the average person and the viewer.
Well, so yes, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, sometimes you get that list of movies that somebody has put together of, if you want to see, all the works that best amplify a certain thing, that kind of makes sense. So I could see both being good, both sides of that argument being true at the same time.
I feel like either there's really two ways this works, right? There's two ways they do this. One is they have a select number of specialists, of curators that come in and curate, and you have a couple of dozen lists or whatever, or they have lots and lots of curated lists, and you can find a curated list that fits your preference, like sci-fi curated list, fantasy, superhero curated list. That works to me because I like superhero movies. Then I can see a list of the best superhero movies that aren't part of the MCU or something like that, right? Yes, I agree. Lists can be great, but lists are great by being selected because you select them based on your likes, right? I select like epic fantasy novels. I'll look at that list and I'll read some of the books on it because that's something I like, and I know that it's probably going to fit into my thing. But if you just give me a book list curated by by fiction,
just download the Sword and Laser book list, and then
that's exactly right. I know I'll like most of the books on that list because I know that the people are very similar to me in the things that they like. On the other hand, random critic or random fiction author, I'm probably not going to like the books that they recommend.
Yeah. I can guarantee you that 90% of the people I work with, their book list, I'm not going to enjoy anything on their book list.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean, that's why they're... But yeah, it goes back to it depends who's doing the curation. Because as we've talked about before, when Netflix started making recommendations based on your starred, when I found out about it, I said, oh, so I put great effort into accurately starring the stuff based on my enjoyment. The things that I loved, I hated, or were kind of in between. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it, but I didn't hate it, Somewhere in the middle. I even went back through my watch history and made sure to rank everything. And because of that, because I took that time, and once I'd done it, when I watched something, it only took like a couple seconds, give it a couple stars. The recommendations it gave me were, I'd say, close to 98% accurate. And if it said, because it would show you, we think you'll like it this much. And it was, sometimes I liked it more, sometimes I absolutely hated it. But yeah, that's gone now. And I don't trust I don't trust any of these people that, I mean, I might be surprised, but I don't have good hopes going into this.
Okay.
Second.
So if you are one of those people who picked up the original Chromecast, which I know some of you are those people out there because there was a lot of them sold back in the day, they are now getting their final major updates and are going to be starting to get only minor updates with security fixes and bug fixes in it. So the OG Chromecast is going to be going to a life support solution, and that's okay because that thing can do 1080p, but generally did stuff at 720 because it was just able to do it that kind of display just about only about that well. It was an amazing little dongle. It changed the world, didn't it?
I on one hand, I was initially surprised that they were still supporting it, but then I realized just how long they sold that one dongle without ever updating it, because they didn't come out with the new one until what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2
so
or 3
it
years
was
ago.
a good 6 years, right?
Right. So the
or
first
5
one was
years on the
first
original.
one came out in 2013.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so if you go like 5 years or 4 years on the original, yeah. So
yeah, how often did Apple update their box or Roku update their box or Amazon every
well, that's
year?
the thing. Roku always they always update. They're still
Right.
putting out updates for the Roku too.
No, I mean new hardware.
Oh yeah.
I would do it the other way. That's right. Netflix is a company that allows you to stream videos over the net, thus the name. But did you know, a long time ago, they also sent discs. In fact, they still send discs in the mail.
What?
And they just shipped their 5th billionth disc.
I'm surprised it's now is 5 billion. I would have figured they hit that benchmark a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true, but they have been continuing to ship these, and they've been seeing a major downtick in the number of things they've been getting. But they wanted to mark this moment where they have hit 5 billion, and they did say on here it's the movie was Rocket Man that they shipped out for as the 5th billion.
I really hope they sent a note or something to the person that said, "Congratulations,
this is the 5th billion disc.
5 billion."
That would be cool. I have to admit, that would be pretty cool.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's just.
And here's the thing: the question: how many people are still using the DVD service? My parents are still using the DVD service. Yes, they get all the streaming stuff, but they also do their own movie night every week. And every time they have a movie night, it's what came in the mail in a Netflix envelope. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful stuff. So now they have everybody come down to their giant theater in the basement with a big 100-inch projector TV. And big sound system, and they watch a really big movie on the big that came from Netflix.
If I had written a note, I would put something in there about congratulations on being the 5 billion or receiving the 5 billionth disc, but I would make sure in the bottom it would end with and like a PS. No, you don't get to keep it. You still have to send it back. So,
oh man!
But here's the thing: it'll be 5 billion sent out. What are they at for sent back? Like 250 million? Because there are movies that are just never going to come back.
Yeah,
and the loss rate. I don't know what I want to know what their loss ratio is.
I bet you it's not as big as you think.
I know people get charged, but still, how many movies did they not get back?
I mean, how many months do you have to be not getting new movies before you figure something out, right? Like,
well, if you're someone that cancels your account and just never sends it back.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's a possibility, but I think for most people, it probably falls into, dang it, I'm going to have to do something because I want more movies again.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool that this is still a thing, and when it stops, that will be a day I will be a little bit sad because, it is something that's been it's part of the whole experience. So. 100-inch TV, no, it was a 100-inch projector, man.
But still with DVDs.
It's
no, I guess if it's a projector, DVD is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
probably like a DLP projector.
I'm sure well, I believe they replaced it because the first one they got was a 720p, and they gave it to me because it's starting to give funky colors, but they replaced it with a 1080 projector a few years ago.
It's probably
And they may be on
DLP.
4K soon. I don't know. I haven't checked up on that projector in a little while, so who knows?
Yeah.
He likes to keep that stuff up to date. Never know.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we have IFA in Berlin. IFA is the big old conference where they're going to be showing off a whole bunch of new entertainment technology. And Sharp said, "Hey guys, we're going to show up with the biggest 8K TV ever. It's going to be 120 inches big."
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we see a 120-inch 8K at the Sony booth? Remember that giant one, not the Cletus, the one that was like on when you first walked in that first year.
I think I remember seeing a 96-inch and a 110-inch. I do not remember.
Maybe it was only 110. Yeah, I was gonna say because I was like, 120. I'm pretty sure we've seen that. But maybe not. Maybe
no,
they got 10 inches.
I think it was 110. That's pretty darn huge, though. So 120 is pretty insane.
Oh, absolutely. 120-inch hook. Let's hook my DVD player up to it.
Your DVD player?
No, VCR, man. Get your VCR on there, man. That's what
Atari.
you need to do. Nice.
8K,
I would totally play Atari.
120-inch 8K deserves an Atari.
You know, I would. You, me, two other guys, warlords.
I'm play ET.
Dude, you're the only other person that I've met that has ever played Warlords. That was my jam.
I've played Warlords, but I'm not as good at it as my friend who just kicks my ass every time.
I would sit.
It's a good game.
At the twist paddles, I would sit for hours by myself because that was one of the few games that had a decent enemy or AI, and I'd play that thing for hours. Just
no, it's fun. I like it, but no, there are people that they could absolutely beat me. Absolutely, no problem. Hey, guess what? If you have an Apple Music service, you can stream it to all kinds of different devices. And if you have an Android phone, you can now stream it to Chromecast devices. Wait, what? This hasn't happened till now? Apple? Why haven't you done this until now?
Well,
what's wrong with you?
Apple's been holding that close to them for a long time.
I don't understand.
Because those Android people are gonna steal it.
Really? Is that the reason? I don't know.
Because if you send it to the Chromecast, then they can play it through their stereo and record it.
Yeah, that damn analog hole. That every single piece of media fits through. I hate it when that happens.
Although that analog hole is the thing that keeps every man living their life.
Yeah. It's too bad we can't cover up the analog hole. I mean, geez, it would make Apple's life so much better.
We love those analog holes. But yeah, if you're I
think I missed a story.
Yeah, you did. But I was gonna bring it up, but not call you out on it.
But you can.
Because I was going to say, I read something before about the BBC. They saw what Samsung did with Bixby and said, hey, we want a stupid voice assistant too.
Yeah. Well,
no, we want a bleeping voice assistant too. Oh, wait, it's beeping.
Is it voiced by the Beeb?
No,
Justin
I don't
Bieber?
think so. So... The BBC has decided that they do want their own voice assistant. They are going to be using it in their iPlayer and other app and the web app for their streaming services, and they're calling it Beeb. And I don't know what that means, but it's not a good name. I mean, for names that are worse than Bixby, this might be one of them.
Well, Bixby, I mean, the name Bixby isn't bad. It's just that Bixby itself is terrible.
Yeah, well,
that was the problem.
The problem with Bixby, the name, is it is it's a little too like
Bixby,
reachy for the.
well,
for what
Bixby sounds like a butler to me.
Yeah,
And
I guess that's
what your
okay.
voice assistant is. It's basically your audio butler.
And it sounds like Bixby has decided to punish me by freezing my video, and I apologize.
It's just, to me, my suspicion is that it's a play on BB, right? BBC.
Maybe that's
because the BBC is the Beeb.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that makes more sense.
It's totally ridiculous, but it's intended for a specific audience, and that audience will understand the name.
So if they start referring to it, well, go ahead and ask the Beeb, and then you say, Beeb, what time is to insert showing tonight? And it was able to tell you. Great, that makes more sense. The Beeb suddenly makes a lot more sense if you're doing that for the BBC. And here's the thing: according to this, it has been trained especially to understand British accents.
Well, their excuse for needing to do this is that the fact that voice assistants, existing voice assistants, have problems understanding accents, which is particularly true in Britain, that has a whole bunch of different accents within their small country.
That was going to be my question. Is okay, British accent. Well, it says understand British accents. Is that all of them? Like, have they covered the vast majority? Because there is a vast difference between various British accents.
Sure. Absolutely.
But, yeah, I don't know. My mind immediately goes to the financial aspect. Is everybody going to be charged just like they are screens for using one of these, because it's being developed with public dollars, because the BBC is owned by the government.
Well, then technically you already are paying for it.
But that is my problem with that whole thing is, but you still have to pay for
just
every TV, so you have to pay a fee. Do you have to pay a fee for every voice assistant you have in your house?
Oh, good.
No,
That's
I don't
their
think so.
license.
Well, you don't pay. I don't think you pay for every TV you have in your house. You just pay a flat fee.
No. That was if you watch British comedies or British TV, that was the whole thing, is like trying to convince the government that I only have one TV in my house, or I don't even have one TV in my house, because they would charge you by screen.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like a license fee per screen. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'd be interested to get my hands on one just to see but it probably won't work here.
Nope, probably won't.
Run it with a VPN.
All right. Well, I think that's our stories for the week. I think that's it.
Oh, thank God. I say if we continued with these stories, people are just gonna leave.
What? No, they won't. They wouldn't leave us, would they? We're just entertaining people. They're going to watch us constantly, don't they?
But I mean, there is a select few that would probably stick around, and those are the wonderful patrons.
Yes, the patrons, the people who decide that, you know what, these guys could use a little bit of chump change. Why don't we go ahead and throw a little their way?
They may not have a lot of value, but
exactly
some value to.
And maybe they will improve somehow if more money is given to them. I think that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That is pure capitalism. If we do better and then we get more money, then that just means we're going to do even more better,
and get more money,
better and more better. That's capitalism.
But so okay, hold on. Let me follow this. More better, more money, more problems. Right?
Don't have to be more problems.
I thought that's how it went.
Well,
more better, more money, more problems. No.
Only in rap songs.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
It's mo something that starts with a B. More problems.
Okay. More business?
Yes.
more balloons, more problems.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Gotcha.
Especially if you've got all those balloons tied to your chair and you float into the jet stream.
Or if you let your young child at a fair sit in one Mr. Bean. Don't let a child sit in the chair. Don't.
No.
More Beebs? Nah. No. Okay. Definitely no. No more Beebs, please.
All right. But yeah, hey, thanks to the guys that are supporting us. You are awesome. And that's patreon.com/theBodsquad. We're not going to beg.
Of course not.
No.
But we will remind you every time we have a show.
That's kind of our duty. We're to thank the people that are supporting us.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to be thanked, yeah, it's easy. It's easy to become one of those people.
Absolutely.
We should check in with the Big Boys J.
Yes.
Welcome to Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of August 26, 2019. I'm your host, Big Boys J. Look, we gotta make this quick. I just bought the last Popeye's chicken sandwich, and I'm starting it with my life! Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Game Night's in last place with $211.8 million. Team The Bod Squad's in fifth place with $519.3 million. Team Have a Drink is in fourth place with $775.7 million. Team Drunkards Gaming is in third place with $990.9 million. Team Ritual Misery's in second place with $1,024.7 million. And in first place with $1,258.8 million, it's Team Movie Party. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of August 28th, 2019.
Okay, it's official. I'm hitting 1.5.
Well, that's interesting enough. With how things came out, it's very official. Very, very likely we're going to have a $1 billion team race going on here. I know you're way in the lead.
Oh,
but
there's
impressive.
no way any of them are going to catch up to me. But
oh no, but Drunk Kids Gaming still has money coming in from the Lion King.
They may take second place back. Yes,
they may take, but almost without a doubt, they're going to hit over $1 billion as well. That's 3 teams over $1 billion. I don't think that's ever happened at any of these shows before. It's obvious that us at the lower end have picked really horrible movies so they could pick the best ones up there. Good job, guys. I'm glad we could help.
Well, I mean, a lot of that goes to Fitz, as Fitz was the MVP
That's true.
of this season, because if he hadn't paid that money for Long Shot, they would have been able to drive up prices on other movies, thereby thinning out the herd. See, and that's all it takes is one bad investment can completely screw up the playing field for everybody else.
Hey, I'm surprised. I'm looking at yesterday. It's continued to make a little bit more money. It's up to $72 million. It keeps on trickling in. I'm impressed with that movie still making a little bit of money of ours. It's sad to see that we're not making as much money as I'm hoping to with Fast and the Furious. Only $150 million so far. It's okay. We're doing all right.
Yeah. 519 2 years ago was a very respectable number.
Thanks. That makes me feel better. Yeah, we got that for $17. Actually, that's a pretty good deal back in the day. It's actually a decent deal right now. It was actually a good one.
Still rolling over the fact that Jimmy thought Trolls was going to be a big thing.
You mean
no Trolls? Oh, not Trolls.
Ugly Dolls.
Ugly Dolls.
I thought it was going to do. I actually thought it was going to do really well too. I really had a feeling that it was, because it felt like there was a big, huge hole for any kind of kids movie, and it was beginning of summer. It felt like that was a good choice.
Although I am glad that you guys took that position, because I can't wait for my my steak when we get to Lowry's in January.
Mike, are you trying to say things and you're muted? I'm not certain.
I did. I said several things while I was muted, and then I realized that I was muted. I thought you just didn't like me. Well, I'll ignore that comment. That was stupid.
That's
We do like you, Mike.
Beside the point.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
thank you. Yeah, congratulations. Just not much. I don't know.
Yeah, there's really not much that needs said at this point. The numbers really speak for themselves.
Good game, guys. We should be hopefully drafting in the next couple weeks.
Oh, really?
For the winter. Hopefully.
Okay.
Because the winter season starts before it is out of theaters. So,
Okay.
yeah, hopefully we'll know something in the next week or so. But word. Why
Need to
don't
know.
we move on to some rants and raves? Good enough. All right. Rants, raves, just general.
I've got a lot.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I don't have a lot.
Oh.
I don't have a lot going on. I'm still finishing an American Ninja Warrior and So You Think You Can Dance. Those wrap up in a couple of weeks. Watching the new season of Madam Secretary, which is it's a really good show. It gets a little bit overly political at times, which kind of drives me crazy. But I put up with it because of the quality of the show as a whole. Started watching How I Met Your Mother because I needed something 30 minutes and funny to kind of.
So you'd never watched that before?
Apart. I've seen several episodes, but I haven't watched it from the beginning. So I started from the beginning. And
you'll enjoy it. It's a great show, especially when you get in a couple seasons and all of the backstory and because that backstory intertwines throughout. There are threads that will be picked back up, like in the final season. Stuff that was stupid insignificant in the first season. They did a great job.
Apparently, don't watch the last episode and it's perfect.
Yeah, and then of course the only other thing is that I'm specifically wearing my Boise State shirt because football starts this Saturday, I think.
Yep, this weekend for college.
Super excited for that season to start up. I'm going to have to find some sort of TV streaming service before then because I've got to be able to watch ESPN, ESPN2, and CBS Sports. So maybe YouTube TV again. Maybe I'll try out the new Hulu TV if it's got CBS Sports on it. See if that new TV guide makes it to where I can find my show without 36
But do you have
clips.
an Apple TV?
No, but it was a bunch
that new
of
TV
services.
guide was on the Apple TV.
Yeah.
Wasn't it on several?
Well, just the Apple TV.
The
just
new
now.
update was to the Apple TV.
Right.
Never mind.
But I mean, when was the last time you tried it?
It was a long time ago.
Okay, yeah. It has changed since the last time you. It's just whatever the update we talked about earlier was Apple TV specific. But I'm sure something has changed.
Yeah, it used to. I literally felt like I had to do 10 to 15 clicks to get to the show that I wanted to watch before. So it worked, and the quality was always good, but it was a pain. So that was my issue then. Maybe I'll give it a try now. See. However, I think it's like $600 a month. So
let me just ask you, how much Ninja Warrior do you have left?
I have 3 episodes. I'm still in the city finals.
So Netflix just launched a new show called Hyperdrive, which is very much Ninja Warrior, but in cars.
What?
And I think you will enjoy it because it's that same production style. It's that same storytelling kind of thing, which drives me absolutely crazy. So I can't watch the show, even though I want to watch these cars do these cool things. I can't stand the medium, but I think you might like it.
Hyperdrive. I'll give it a shot and see
watch the first episode. The first episode was good. Some things happened that were totally worth it, and even if you never watched another episode, which I did, never watched another episode.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
So school starts next week. In fact, next week, Wednesday, will be the first day of school, which means that now I'm officially in crunch time. Crunch time means that I really don't have any time after work. I am taking a part of my time out right now just to do this. In fact, when I'm done here, I will probably go back to what I'm supposed to be doing, which is literally setting up accounts, setting up systems. Last week I was struggling with Centrino drivers. Well, it wasn't Centrino altogether. It was a new setting that affected old. Anyways, whatever. I'm very busy, but I do try to spend at least a little of the time. I sit down, me and my wife, we watch a show together, and so we said, "Oh, the new Curates is out." She goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, it's actually on YouTube, but it's coming out like in a couple of days. It was this weekend it came out." And she goes, "Oh, well, we should." And I said, "And that those other shows, Good Eats Reloaded, I've watched a couple of those. Those are good." And she's like, "Oh," and he said, "What is that?" Which he takes old episodes and fixes them. Really? Well, let's watch some of those. So we've been watching some of the Good Eats Reloaded, which have been excellent. And we watched the first 2 episodes of Good Eats The Return, which is basically season 15 of Good Eats. It's awesome.
Sweet. Thanks for the reminder. I saw something about that a long time ago, and then I completely forgot about it.
I had it on my list of things to check out. I keep seeing it on the on Amazon on the Echo. So
I will say Alton Brown is one of the few people in that medium that I have ever liked and have ever made an effort to go meet. He was a cool dude.
Cool.
When they did the Feasting on Asphalt,
Yep.
the second season they drove up the Mississippi.
Right.
So they ended at where the Mississippi starts, which is at Lake Superior here in Minnesota. So somebody started posting on the internet, "Hey, we just saw Alton Brown ride by," and then they were at some restaurant. So it's like, "Oh, I know where that is." So I drove out there and I waited. We waited with a bunch of people out in the parking lot until they finished eating, and then talked to him for a little bit. And it's cool, dude. It was very nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. Rock on. Anything else?
No. Just when you see me next week and I look like, you'll know why.
So this week, Netflix put out 2 comedy specials. One of which I knew I was probably going to love. The other one, I was just whatever. Colin Quinn, I haven't seen anything from him forever. I love Colin Quinn. I've always liked his take on society. He put out his new Red State, Blue State. It was an argument of basically, what the fuck? And he made it was really funny, and he made a point about how, he gets criticized for kind of his style of comedy, because with this new generation, you've got a fine line you got to walk. And he says, "Yeah, that's exactly why I became a comedian, to get up here and preach exactly what everybody wants to hear." It's like he goes a long way to make the point that no, comedy is supposed to be maybe offensive, borderline. You gotta cross lines,
right?
You've got to challenge people's views.
When the emperor has no clothes, the jester's supposed to point that out.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to laugh.
And that being said, the other one that was great, Dave Chappelle, that's the very thing that he is being criticized so much, is because, "Oh, I can't believe he said that. Oh, he took this subject and he made jokes about it." And number one, most of his jokes were, pretty valid. People don't want to hear it. But it was great. I did not go into the Dave Chappelle special expecting anything, because hit or miss with him,
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely loved it. And the fact that the internet is on fire with outrage is proof enough that he struck a nerve. Some things that people don't want to talk about. Yeah, sure, there were a couple things that he did say that were obviously for shock. But
what shows were these?
So it's Colin Quinn and Dave Chappelle comedy specials.
The comedy specials on Netflix?
Yep, on Netflix.
All right.
Dave Chappelle, as of yesterday, he was the thing that they were touting when you first log into Netflix. With all the uproar today, that may have changed. But I
hope not.
I hope not to. Yes, when he sides with Michael Jackson, that was very funny. Probably, tongue in cheek, but who cares? But yes,
Okay.
I recommend watching both of them. But
All right.
yeah, watch the Colin Quinn one first, because then you see exactly what he was talking about when you watch the. You see exactly why the Dave Chappelle one is so great. But anything I'm forgetting before we shut this down?
I don't think so, sir. I think that is everything.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for hanging out with me on this Wednesday night. Thank you in the chat room, everybody that took time to view us live. Yes, that's right. We do this live. So if you're watching this after the fact, come join us. 9 p.m. Central. Wednesday nights on Twitch. Just search for the VOD Squad and you'll find us. And one of the best things about coming live is you get to contribute. You get to tell us that we're doing things wrong, that Mike's mic is muted, that post-show or pre-show throughout the show. Yeah. And then also you get to submit titles. So titles, those of you guys in the chat room, head on over to tbs.chat, or I can't talk now.
Chatbot.
Chat realm, tbs.showbot.tv, and vote for the titles that you like. And with that, I'll see you guys in the post show. Everybody else,
Haters.
bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.